on our okay. So we are here. Thank you so much, Noha, for coming today and sharing with us all your experiences in developing this kind of frameworks and your expertise in game-based learning. And we do appreciate that you're coming here just to share your knowledge with us. And definitely, it will be so exciting today, opportunity to learn more about your game-based learning from all your expertise in the field. And I know that you have been developing and working a lot in such a topic in different learning institutions, and you are very well-rounded in such a topic. So here, Cafe Without Border, we are so excited and pleasured to have you today presenting this interesting topic that definitely we all need to learn about. It might help us with having a better, let's say, a better working environment, or let's say student learning might happen in a better engaging way. So the floor is yours to start your presentation. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Lamia, dear friend, and thank you all for coming today. I'm Noha Nagy, and I'm a learning experience designer. I've been working with GBL for many years, and it was just, I would say, one of the experiences that I tried to figure out how to work at my own because we have a lot to say about it. Still, you have to find out something or a way to deliver it to teachers and teachers training and also to implement it in classrooms if you're going to do any sessions. So this is a kind of a framework for GBL. So I be just giving you like I would say a kind of a framework that I developed myself, and it's based on my own experience. So I would not say that it's you find it in the books, but it's I just get things from every time, and from every time I've been teaching and using GBL, and also from some theoretical frameworks that I used. Um, okay. For the GBL, it's very important to think of it as it's a learning experience more than you're giving games or you're gamifying things. So in GBL, learners do not just listen, they decide, as we said, decide and act. So here, the way they decide and what matters with the GBL. Learning here is proven through observable performance and not from options. So if learners cannot do it, the game is not teaching it. And this the game is not giving a feedback. I do not ask them to define a feedback. I make them choose what to say in a tough scenario, and then we watch what they do. So this is the point. The playbook or this playbook is the full journey from setup, goals, design, the brief, playtest. So it's not a linear one. You loop back and improve. And this is very important. Making different versions using your own experience, your own reflections. So we will walk through the key steps next, and I will be just talking thoroughly. And think of it like a lesson planning and product testing. You design, and then you try it, and then you fix, and then you try it again. So let's start the steps simply. And before you start designing your GBL, you lock to three constraints. The first one is your audience. And not only your audience, it's integrated with the context. So see your audience within the context. So the audience and the context, who are they and where are they working together and will be reacting together. And this is what you have to put in mind. The second thing, can you hear me? Okay, can you hear me? Let me check because I have something in the internet, sometimes I'm worried about losing you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
clear.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, well, perfect. Okay. So thank you. So the next one is the time and the materials. So how long and what tools? This is very important. And the third is one success indicator, a clear sign. It's enough to be one, a clear sign that means to you that it worked well. So this is what you have to put in mind before just designing your audience within the context, the times and the materials, and one only success indicator that you put in mind and just make sure that you have it. For example, let me give you here example. If my audience is in foundation FS1, for example, or in KG1 or KG2, so the time will be, so here I know the audience, I know the students, I know the school, I know the class, and the time will be around 10 minutes. And the materials are, for example, will be only, I will be only using playing cards. And the success indicator, for example, might be that students can, by the end, blend 5 CVC words correctly. So this is what we call the indicator. Okay. So one more important thing to start with the topic, then ask, what should learners do under these constraints? So here is a kind of a thinking, what should my learners do under the constraints? Convert the knowledge now into performance, convert the topic into performance. Uh, and the topic, for example, if the topic will be, I would say, classroom management. You're doing a teacher practice or a teacher training for classroom management. So here, the teachers, for example, should give clear instructions in 10 seconds and gets 80% compliance. So ask yourself, use the technique of the 5 whys. So here with the 5 whys, why are students off task? So you will answer because instructions are unclear. Why the instructions are unclear? Because they are too long. Why long? Because teacher is not planning the key phrases and so on. So here, the 5 whys will make you dig deeper into the root cause, and this will help more to structure afterwards your objectives. And here, the objectives, and of course, I'm sure that you will be all referring back to the Bloom's taxonomy. So the good objectives have 3 layers. They have to be measurable verbs, what they do exactly, the mastery proof, what counts as success, and here you remember the indicators of success, and the decisions and constraints, what choices they must make, what might be the limits. So here with the objectives, you have to put these 3 things in mind. So for example, if the learner chooses the best feedback sentence under the time pressure and with limited information, here the mastery will prove around 4 over 5 correct choices. So you put all of them together and this will be your objective. By the end, learners will be able to choose the best, for example, feedback sentence under time pressure and with time limited information. So this might be your kind of objective for the activity. For the most practical part, And this is the most, I would say, the most important part that you can Google and you can read more about. And this is, I would say, the core of GBL in education, especially in just doing games. So, what are the elements? How do we build a game? So, what are they? So, we have three things: the dynamics, the mechanics, components. Usually, this is what I have worked through. We put the components and then we go with the mechanics and then the dynamics. But the more I worked with the GBL, uh, I just started to recognize that dynamics are more important. Dynamics is the first part. Why? Dynamics means the feeling. For example, the pressure, the cooperation, the urgency, the teamwork. So, what matters about experience? So, it's the feeling and experience. So, dynamics is non tangible. It what will create in the heart and in the feeling and in the mind of the experience of the learner. With the mechanics, how it works, which are the rules of the game, the scoring, the turns. So these are all the mechanics. And then with the components, this is what we see. Tangible things that what we catch, what we see, the playing cards, the tokens, the rolls, um, whatever, the dice. So all these are the components. So this is simply what we call the elements of the game. So the elements of the game are the three, and I would recommend that you try it and you start with thinking ahead with the dynamics before designing it. Because, for example, let me give you example for this part. So if the dynamics, like as we mentioned, urgency. So you want to create the feeling of urgency. You are training people on something, on classroom management, and you want to create that feelings of urgency. You want to create the experience of a teamwork. These are all dynamics. The mechanics might be you will play the game in 3 rounds. You will have to take turns, or you will get 1 point for the correct decisions, minus point for the wrong decisions. These are the mechanics. For the components, if you have scenario cards, if you have a timer, if you have a team score sheet, these are all the components. So the brief here is when learning becomes clear and transferable. And I would really appreciate Mr. Kolb and the Kolb style. I adore this style. It's really perfect. And it really creates the experience well. So when you just integrate it with the elements of the GBL, it worked well. So here in the Kolb cycle, you go with what happened, what did you notice, what principle does this teach, and what will you do next time. So when you design it, so you make it more transferable, and you might integrate story, narrative. It's optional, by the way, but when you integrate it, you get a flavor of excitement, and it can boost more emotion and memory. So they will never forget about it. For example, after a game, you go and ask your learners, what a choice made you lose points? And what the pattern did you see here? What rule of communication is hiding here? What will you change in your next meeting classes? So, whatever. It's all about the cycle. You go with your learners into the cycle. The cycle will help you to try it, fix it, and go back and implement. Try it, fix it, and implement. So, it will help you as a trainer, it will help you as a learner. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So always play test and fix three things. So if you design your game, you went through the objectives, you went through the call cycle, it's perfect. Still, keep in mind that you need all the time to make playtest or to play test and fix three things. So think of the rules. Think of if the rules are clear or confusing, and this is what really spoils the GBL if the rules are not clear. Think of the pace. Is it too slow? Is it too fast? Because this will affect the dynamics. So if the pace is too slow, it will be boring. This will affect the urgency. For example, if you're doing that, you have to think of the pace. Think of the engagement. Are the learners actually involved? So you need to think of that. So, so for an action plan, build version 1, then run it, make a debrief, iterate it, and scale it. Do not wait for perfect. Do not wait for perfect. Just launch the version 1, and improve it. For example, if you run a GBL with 6 learners first. So if they ask you, what do we do now too often? This means that your rules are broken and you need to fix them and rerun the game again. So thank you so much. This is all what I have. I just wanted to share an experience, and I really appreciate your attendance. Thank you so much. Thank you, dear Lamia.
Thank you so much, Ms. Noha Nagy, for
Thank you.
your
Thank you, Mr. Malik.
for your session. So, do we have any questions for Ms. Noha?
Yeah,
So,
would.
Ms. Noha, before people start questions, sorry, go on, please.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Please go ahead with your question.
Just thinking that if you could give us some effective examples for maybe for very young learners or for not exactly for young learners, but for perhaps for professionals, like what kind of games are effective to engage adults in a professional setting?
Okay. It depends on your objectives. So here we're not coming with the game and I just give it to you ready-made. And this is what always when you see a GBL session, you go and you uh, think that we will give you a ready-made thing. And this is what people expect usually. But usually you have to dig for the root cause. So for example, why are you doing this session? So what is the objective? And then through the objective, you can easily choose what will be the best game. So what kind of dynamics do you want to create? So ask yourself, and it's professional. What is the problem first? GBL is coming just to solve the problems. So it's not just to engage people and let just them to have fun. So it's not for fun. It's for educating. It's for transforming. So if you ask yourself, what is the root cause of the problems I'm facing with people, professionals, and the corporate I'm working as a teacher trainer? So you need to think of this. Well, ask yourself the 5 whys as a root cause to discover the root cause, then design your objectives built on the Bloom's taxonomy. This can be easily be added to the prompt for the AI for ChatGPT. So you can give him the give the ChatGPT the steps and ask him to create for you the objectives. And from the objectives, you will consider what will be the dynamics. What do I want to create? I want to create the feelings of a teamwork. I want to create if they have a lack of cooperation. So according to this, what might be the mechanics, the dynamics? This is according to you. The components can be changing. You can play with the cars, you can play with the game board, you can play it in your own way, you can make it digital on Kahoot. So this is not what matters. What matters is what dynamics do you need to create. So From my experience in attending a lot of seminars and a lot of people are talking about GBL, I discovered that this is what we expect. Me as myself as a learner, I used to expect that, okay, so what will be the games that which is effective? So I used to ask your questions many times, and this is normal. But from my experience, if you want to find games, it's easily to Google it. But if you want to create a game which can be transforming your learners, this is different. Here you are a designer. So you're customizing things according to that. So I'm ready to help you, Malik, if you have a major issue with your team, if you are a trainer in a corporate or something. So just send me the case. So what is the problem you're facing? We can figure it out together. We think of the objectives, and we can just brainstorm for the dynamics. But the dynamics will be easily created from the objectives, and then you can choose your own component, the way that you want to present your game. Did I answer your
Thank you.
question? Thank you so much.
Yes. But then it asks for one more question, if I may.
Yes.
Right. Okay. How would you define dynamic?
So dynamics simply are the feelings or the experience you're creating. So this is, let me share something here. Let me share the PowerPoint. I show it again. So here, so these are the components. Sorry, not the components. Oh, these are the elements of a game. So the elements easily starting with what we see. The outer layer are the components. What we see from the game, you simply see the cards. You simply see the tokens. You simply see the game board. This is what you see, okay? But what is under there are the dynamics, the feelings. I want to put the learners into pressure so they understand what does it mean to manage their times if you're doing time management. So you want to put your learners into the feelings or the experience of cooperation, and this is matters. So experience and dynamics means experience and feelings. With the mechanics is how the dynamics and the components from the other part will be moving. So the action themselves. How are you going to make the actions? So here, simply dynamics means feelings, experience. Mechanics means actions. Components are the tangible things we can see and we can touch from the game. Does it make any sense? If you have an example, I can just relate it to you if you have something in mind.
For example, let's say we want to we're looking for a solution in a team where some members are not participating, they're not productive. So this is our dynamic. Am I right?
So the dynamics you need to create is teamwork.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And this is the dynamics you would create. So the components are yours. So let's think of the teamwork. So what do you want? How do you want to create the dynamics more with the teamwork? So you want them to be engaged in an activity in which they will work in a group. And with this group, they have to go through many stations and do some tasks that are related to whatever you have in your content. And then they have to be put into another pressure. So this is another dynamic with the time and with some obstacles around to put them some challenges that they have to fix together, and they have all to participate. So here you will provide some rules that everybody in the group should be participating. So this rule will hit with that everybody will be participating. Okay, within the team. And if anyone will be missed, the whole group will be losing their own points. So here, these are the mechanics. The components can be as you wish. They can be doing it outside, so it will be an outside activity, or it can be through roles, through cards, so whatever the thing that you will decide. So here, how you mix things together.
Right. That makes it really clear. So, can you ask about your experiences? Like, when you use this mechanic and dynamics and components as a trainer, what changes you have seen in some of the cases that you have dealt with?
Well, honestly speaking, if you're talking about the adults, make sure that you will have resistance. So one of the most important things that I've learned through experience, that it was really hard experience for me, and I was training adults at that time. It was not in classrooms, in schools. They resisted from the very beginning. I wanted to create the kind of a Mission Impossible thing and the Mission Impossible feeling, and that we want to delve deeper into an experience. So from the very beginning, like they were around 10, like 4 of them were resisting, that they don't want to try it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to, my mistake at that time was that I was not clear from the very beginning with the objectives. So they were lost with the objectives. And I discovered that in the design, some of the activities, some of the games were needed much time, while others in other stations needed less time. So the point here is that you need to make a prototype for what you have done before you enter the class. Try it yourself and make sure that whatever you feel in the prototype will be happening in the real session. So can we be back to your questions? Maybe I delved deeper, or I went through your question, or not yet. Did I answer your question? If you would like to repeat your question.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Malik. Thank you. Good luck with the adults learning. Okay.
So
Any more questions?
now,
Yes.
would you recommend this this whole design of game-based learning, GBL? Do you recommend it for like school-going students, for maybe adults, like university-going students, or professional working in corporations, in companies, in different
I use it in
organizations?
both ways. I use it everywhere. It's the science behind. So what I'm talking about is the science behind. So I'm using it everywhere. So I'm doing it with the schools, with the students, and I did it with professionals in some corporates in different fields, not in education. And I find resistance with the adults when they do not know the objectives. The problem is sometimes when you clarify the objectives too much for them, it affects the engagement. It affects, sorry, the excitement. It does not affect the engagement, but it affects a little bit the excitement. So give them a little bit of the objectives, clarified, not too much clarification, and then let them enjoy the game. Okay? So this is with the adults. Usually the resistance is different through the ages.
All right. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for your questions. Thank you so much.
I hope my questions are quite related to what you do, not out of place.
Yes, they are. And I feel what you feel. If you're doing this with professionals and corporates, I know how you're feeling because, yes, I got through this. Don't worry, it will work, inshallah. We can just cooperate together and I can help you if you need any help. Okay.
So
Any more questions? Yes.
Let's see if we have more questions from the attendees.
Yes. I'm not sure if somebody's talking or no. I can hear some noise, so I'm not sure if it's a question or no. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you, Lamia, for just inviting me. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, just for being here.
Thank you so much, Noha, for being here.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.